The Department of Veterans Affairs is the main health care for millions of veterans who have come back from serving this country and protecting America. The VA is responsible for many different aspects that surround the veterans. Some of their responsibilities include providing health care for veterans, making sure the veterans get their medications and or appointments on time, and having other options available for veterans who are disabled. They also are supposed to keep in touch with community leaders and help out in the community by keeping up with the cemeteries. As of late, these responsibilities have not been taken seriously, and the VA has been through many scandals and issues. The most notable scandal that occurred in 2014 was in a VA office in Phoenix. The scandal consisted of officials at the office falsifying appointment wait times for veterans. This resulted in veterans not getting their appointments they needed on time, and some of the patients passed away from this. This issue is the peak of the issues that plague the VA. The issue of appointment and medication timing was primarily showed in the scandal, but this is happening all over the country. Some other issues include the veterans not getting enough information on the VA, which result in them not knowing if they are eligible for certain things or not, what they need to get started, and how much they need to pay, if anything. This really diminishes the chances of veterans going to the VA. When the veterans are in the VA offices can be very far. The VA is very unreliable with scheduling, and the veterans could not receive the right services because they are not sure what they are eligible for. Issues have greatly affected the veteran community, with some veterans even losing their lives, which resulted in many negative thoughts being attached to them. Solutions to these issues will not be straightforward, and time will be needed. To learn a bit more about these issues and get a first-hand view of the issue, we brought in a veteran who has experience within the VA. Okay, today we're here with Mr. Scott, a Marine veteran who's had a lot of experience with the VA, and he's going to tell us a little bit about it today. Thank you for being here with me.
Yeah, no
I really
problem.
appreciate it. So my first question is, how long were you in the military and where did you serve?
I was in for 4 years. I was stationed at Camp Pendleton, California. I went to Afghanistan for 7 months. I guess 2 years in, a little less than 2 years in. That's pretty much it. I stayed there, other than like training, hopping around here and there, but mainly Camp Pendleton, California.
Oh, that's really cool. And then when you came home, did you feel welcomed, or did you feel like it was a hard to transition to get back into coming home?
I think it was kind of hard to transition. There's not really, this was also, 2013, the end of 2013. So I don't know how much it's changed.
Yes.
I imagine not much from what I've heard. But, I was unemployed for a year, and I was applying everywhere. It was kind of a hard transition. There wasn't really much other than, they did I think it was like a week-long transition readiness seminar.
Yes.
And they didn't really go over anything.
Yes.
So I got out. I didn't know how to make a resume. I went in right after high school. So I had no, real-world experience. Yes. I went from, being in school, being told what to do, to being in the military and being told what to do, when I can do things, when I can't do things. Yes. So I wasn't really, prepared to be an adult.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard, over time, it's really hard to transition from going to the military and then trying to find a job when it's, just going right from high school to the military. Yeah,
if you really, take the military down to the bare bones of it, it's actually really easy. You're told what to do and when to do it. You just have to listen. As long as you do that, you're fine. It's once you get out that, you have to make decisions. I guess depending on rank, if you get a higher rank, you have to be in charge of people.
Yeah.
But, I never got that far, so.
But that's really a hard experience to go through then. But,
yeah.
Well, when you came back, though, and you, got out of the military, did you feel like an honor, though, after that?
Not necessarily, but I didn't really do it for that. I kind of always knew that I was going to go into the military. Mm-hmm. I didn't know which branch. I told my parents I was going to join the Navy or the Air Force, and then the Marine recruiter showed up at the door, so that kind of, ruined that. I had to convince them to let me do it, and they did. But I never even thought about how much I'd get paid. I never really cared. I feel like a lot of people that do it, at least the guys that I knew, we kind of just did it because we always wanted to.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people told me. They just go into it because they believe that's the best thing for them.
Right.
Rather than, doing it for a specific reason.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to survive college. I feel like, you're limited to, Now I know there's trade schools and options like that, but at the time it was college or the military, and I was a terrible student, so
Yeah.
it kind of left me one option.
Yeah. So when you got back, did you experience any like other than like the struggles to find jobs? Was there any like mental health struggles or anything like that?
Yeah. So being in the military, it's a lot of like hurry up and wait. So it's a lot of fast pace to do nothing. You're running around and then you're doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got out, even still, I don't really have much tolerance. I'm learning as I go I just don't have much tolerance for people that are slow.
Yes.
And, I don't like the whole, like, head nods. If I ask you a question, I expect an answer. Like, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't necessarily say are negative, but it's hard to kind of get rid of. Oh. And, my vocabulary isn't the best, which is my own fault. I mean, I didn't really have to elaborate on things. In the military, everything was blunt and to the point.
Yes.
So, it's kind of hard, I guess, in that aspect.
Well, so, like, the VA, excuse me, has, like, a lot of responsibilities. I read up on it that they are supposed to help with mental health, help the families. Do you think that they have been doing that, or do you think they've been lacking in that? Because I know you have some experience with them.
So, I feel like there's a big disconnect between veterans and the VA. You'll have some that really rely on it, but there's always bad stories that go with it. I only know one friend that actually goes to the VA for a lot of things. He actually had a surgery there, and I took him. I was actually nervous for him. Like, are you seriously going to go here and get a surgery? Like, I was concerned the whole time. And he wound up being fine. As far as I know, everything's fine with him. But I just never really had good experiences. And I didn't feel like... I don't know what I expected, though, either.
Yes.
I mean, there were certain things that, just rubbed me the wrong way. They're supposed to give you a dental checkup within 6 months of your end of active service. That's supposed to be covered.
Yes.
They then billed me for it.
Oh.
Now, I put it into dispute. And when it's under dispute, it was a month-long dispute, so it's 30-day review. You can't pay it under the 30 days, however, it gained interest.
Oh.
I refused to pay it on principal. I think it wound up being like $83. But it was supposed to be free.
Yeah.
They wound up taking it out of my tax returns the next year.
Oh.
So, like, little things like that, now I go and tell people.
Away.
Right, you tell other people, and they're like, oh, man. And a lot of people, these are stories that, of course, I told one guy who probably told somebody else, and next thing you know, it's $1,000 that I owed or something crazy.
Yeah.
But there's enough little stories about the VA that make people just shy away from it.
Yeah, when I was reading up, it said a lot of the issues came from that the veterans didn't know a lot about the VA, so they would go just expecting the bare minimum when there was actually a lot more they were supposed to be doing for them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I had no idea what to expect. And when I went, I just didn't really... And there's great people that work there, too.
Yeah.
There really is. I mean, some people are nice. A lot of times you call to schedule appointments, you get somebody that has an attitude, like they don't want to do their job. But once you actually get around the medical personnel, the nurses, the doctors, they're usually awesome.
Yeah. And
I saw a doctor there a few times, and he was great. But they have so many patients. He didn't know who I was or anything. It's not like going to your family doctor.
It's not like a personalized experience.
Right, and there's like a disconnect there.
Yeah, because like the VA's motto is to be able to help the veterans and their spouses and possibly their children. Mm-hmm. But like recent studies have shown that like there was many problems. One of them was in Phoenix. That was the biggest one. Was that people were getting their times extended. Like they were supposed to get their medical checkup was one time, and then the people at the desk would say, oh, it's unavailable for like 6 months. Yeah.
And they would just keep extending it.
Correct.
And then it actually resulted in people dying because they weren't able to get their appointments, get their medications. Like, how do you feel about that? I know for a fact that happens, especially along the lines of mental health. When you call and they try to schedule an appointment 6 months out, I feel like there should be something. I understand it's a massive workload, but there has to be a better way than saying, oh, well, we can see you in 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a friend that I went to communication school with who got out of the Marines. He did a couple combat deployments, went into the French Foreign Legion just to come back, try to get mental health help from the VA. Didn't get it. Wound up writing a long note on Facebook, a long post, and then killed himself in a VA parking lot. Oh. So these things happen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no... ifs, ands, or buts, but I'm sure it happens in other places too. Yeah. I just don't think that it's, if I call my therapist they're not going to tell me to wait 6 months.
Yeah.
If I call the VA, I'm pretty much guaranteed that that's, the soonest they could see me is 6 months.
Yes. They say that they're here to help with PTSD and all these other mental health issues after, doing active duty, and then they tell you to wait, which you can't wait. That's not something you wait on.
No, and PTSD is a blanket term too, which it's one of those things like, I'm sure that there's people that, you could say PTSD and that's for sure, but it's such a blanket term. I mean, you go and you get diagnosed with anxiety, combat-related stress, and, another doctor sees all that. He sees 3 or 4 different mental things. Just give him PTSD. Which I guess if you want to go for disability benefits is great because it's, pretty much you're going to get an 80% disability rating.
Yeah.
But if you don't have PTSD, you shouldn't be told that you have PTSD. There's other underlying issues that don't just hit it with a blanket term,
Yeah, there's a lot of other things and they got to explain it, but sometimes they just don't want to put the time or like you said, they have so many people that...
Yeah, it's easier to say PTSD, give him these medications and, hopefully he'll be okay.
Yeah.
As opposed to, get at the root of the issue.
Yes. So when you had your encounters, you said some were good and some were not as good?
Yeah, so the doctor that I saw a few times was awesome. Like I said, he had no idea who I was. I mean, but, that's my family doctor that I go to now does. But he was great. I mean, he was a great personality. I mean, I had no complaints about him, in particular. It was just getting an appointment with the guy.
Yeah.
It was hard to do. I mean, and then if you had an appointment at the VA, just take the day off work because you're going to be there waiting.
Yeah.
It might have changed now. I mean, I kind of gave up on it. I don't go anymore. I went to see a psychiatrist there once. That was, I guess, it's a residency or an internship, whatever it's called, that they do. Sat there with the guy for an hour. He's asking me all these questions, and then afterwards we went and sat down with the actual psychiatrist that I was supposed to meet. He started asking me the same questions. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here all day and go over the same thing. I mean, the guy should have been sitting in the room with him. Yeah. It's just little things like that it's almost like a mismanagement thing.
Yeah. That they've been recently changing a lot of management around. I read that they changed the manager recently, and there's a lot of been bipartisan, rule to try to get it better, but it seems like so many other issues are going on that they can't forget about it. Yeah. As even though that's a huge issue within our country. So what do you think the main issues are stemming from, or what they are in the VA?
I think that a lot of people just genuinely don't care. I'm not saying that veterans are a special breed of people that, we deserve more than anybody else, but I feel like a lot of people, they volunteered a good part of their youth and maybe most of their adult life as well. The least you could do is give them an appointment on time, not make them wait 6 months. Yeah. Try to actually help, even if it means referring them to an outside doctor outside of the VA. Like, hey, we can't see you as much as we, should be able to. So why don't you give this guy a call, get in touch with this person, something. Yeah. I mean, there needs to be more programs. I know when I was still in the military, they offered things like yoga and stuff like that, which I never did it. Maybe I should have tried it. Maybe it would have helped. But I don't know what the VA offers. Yeah. Maybe that's my fault for not looking into it. But they've never really told me either. Yeah. I have no idea. They've never really reached out and offered anything. I mean, I
don't really express it,
No,
when you go there, they just say, what's your issue, and then try to help you, but they don't know. It could be other things.
Yeah.
And they can help other ways, too.
Absolutely. They just send me emails that don't make any sense. It's all about, the GI Bill benefits, which I already used. So I don't think they, it's not really, the email isn't for you per se. Yeah. It's for everyone, and it just doesn't apply to people. I don't know.
So, do you think that there's a clear solution, or do you think it's going to be one of them build-up solutions that's going to take a while to actually, start to get into effect to make the VA better?
I think that it's going to take a little bit. They're going to have to focus and really hit it from different angles and really figure out what the problem is. Maybe sit down with vets that constantly go to the VA and see, what they think should be changed. I mean, I've pretty much given up on them. I probably won't go. My job now, I have great health insurance, so I have no reason to use the VA. Yeah. Even before this job, though, I went to the VA a few times and then, never went back.
Yeah, so that Do you think like it's still affecting a lot of veterans that are going? You think a lot of them are just still struggling from these issues?
I think so. I mean, I have a friend that has like a whole toiletry bag full of medications, which I'm almost guaranteeing most of them he doesn't even need. It's just that's the easy fix, is just, prescribe this guy meds.
I've heard that like medications take forever from the VA too.
I've only gotten a few from them, and it was, for like migraines and stuff like that. It wasn't anything crazy.
Oh, okay. And do you think the VA should put something in place sooner to try to start helping these issues?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would imagine they have some sort of a panel that, is trying to revise these problems.
Yeah.
If they don't, they should.
Definitely. I read so much on it that the VA has just not been helping as much as they should. They're not living up to their name. And they also put, I know this doesn't exactly go for you, but they're supposed to be helping like with grave sites that they put in names of veterans, and they're starting to rot away with like no help to clean them or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just they put so much on themselves and then they don't live up to it.
Yeah.
So any like closing statements or anything you want to add?
No, I just think that a lot of these organizations, the VA, the VFW, the American Legion, they need to focus on this younger generation. There's been a war going on for the past 20 years. These people need assistance, they need help. I mean, nothing against the older veterans, Vietnam vets, Korea vets, regretfully most of World War II vets have passed, but, those guys are kind of slowly going away, or they're not as mobile to be involved. Try to get these younger guys involved, myself included. If I knew about some volunteer programs to help out, I mean, I more than likely would do it. I mean, me and a couple of my friends, I got friends that, we weren't all, in the military together, but friends I've made since I've gotten back home that were in the military at one point. Be more than willing to help out.
Yeah, well, they don't express it as much. Their programs, like their volunteer offers.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I've heard stuff about like the VA before, but till I start really researching the issue, I didn't know about it that much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the unseen issue, you don't really hear about it as much.
Yeah, and I'm sure for you, looking into it, you probably get a little aggravated and things that it's wrong. But somebody like me, if I go and really dive into it, I'm going to be way too frustrated. And I'll feel way too defeated. So I just don't, look into it a little bit. If I see an article, I'll read it. But most of the time, it's just, I'm reading it, shaking my head, and not really surprised, which is sad.
Yeah, it's very bad. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this.
No problem. Thank you
so much. And thank you for your service.
No problem.
As seen, the VA issue is out of hand and affecting many people. Veterans have enough to worry about when they come home, and we owe it to them to make sure they are honored and protected. Solutions to these issues are not clear-cut, and it may take a lot of changes for something to be done. Hopefully, some of the leaders will help us out and make the VA a better service to the veterans. Along with all these issues in the VA, veterans also suffer from issues such as PTSD and homelessness. PTSD is a very common condition that veterans have when they return from service and can drastically change their lives for the worst. Furthermore, Semilich Stasha reported that veterans make up 11% of the homeless adults in America. When changes start happening in the VA, then other positive changes will happen down the line. Let's make the change and honor the people who fought for our freedom.